is up, Mappers? Welcome to EQ number 4 of the season.
Motherfucker, I've been mortified, 45, feeling like a Mordecai. I ain't regular, feel like Jordan wearing 45. Homicide, genocide, televised, emphasize, perpetuating war to that nigga, he gon' pick a side. I am not a pimp with a limp, I'm a man with a gift, and I'm doing my shit like
That's a giant. Boom! Let's go!
my 100 steps ahead, that's a lot of mouth, nigga. That's a lot of clout, nigga. What you all about, nigga? What your dollar amount, nigga?
Boom.
You a boy stout, nigga. I'm a big dog.
We are damn near to Wheeler Lake. We are in Alabama, and I cannot wait to get this thing started. You guys have been following along the first 3 opens. It's been badass. This one, about an 11-hour drive for us. We're staying at an MFer's house for this trip, about 15 minutes for the ramp. Broccoli's meeting us there. It's gonna be a good time on this trip. I cannot freaking wait. One thing I'm really excited for is I have never been to Wheeler Lake, but I just love how it sets up. It's got 3 or 4 of my all-time favorite things all mixed into one. And that is, I love fishing current, I love fishing offshore, I love fishing big baits. I hear there's big bait eaters here, and not only is there a largemouth, there is some giant Tennessee River smallmouth in this lake. So a little bit of everything, but from listening to me talk about it, it's obviously gonna be a pretty diverse fishery and at a time of the year when we probably got a lot of different things going on. So it's gonna be a lot to break down. It is Friday right now. We have Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and half of Wednesday to do some practicing. And so that is what we are going to do. We're about 43 minutes away from the MFer's house where we are staying. And once we get there, we're gonna get unpacked, kind of settled in a little bit. And then I'm gonna hop in the boat and do a lot of tackle. I was fishing in Texas, although I tried to kind of fish some bodies of water that were similar to this offshore post-spawn type fishing we'll be doing. There's gonna be a lot of changes I need to make with my tackle to kind of get it dialed in, get the right reels, line, matched up with the right rods, the right baits. I'm gonna run you guys through what I hope to be throwing in practice to at least find these fish. And then we're gonna kind of fine tune that, and I'm really gonna break down the map of what to look for as practice goes on, and how I'm going to try to break down this lake I've never been to before. If you guys follow on with the points, we got 62nd place last time at Bugs Island. I believe that has us in 5th or 6th for points. I think 5th for points. So we're right there on pace for that top 9 goal by the end of the season. So that's all going well, but the points are really tight and there's a lot of guys right on my heels. So we got to do as good as we can every single tournament, obviously. This one will be no different, and I'm hoping it ends up in my wheelhouse. Catch you guys at the house, on the boat, tie some things up, and then tomorrow morning, we get to go chase them. I cannot wait. Okay, we've arrived. Well, we arrived a long time ago. We've been here for several hours now. Had a nice little dinner. We're staying at my man Matthew, the MFer's house over here. It's his parents' house, but he's on the Auburn fishing team. And he's a freaking hammer, and so it's badass that he's having us out here. I told you we were staying at MFer's house, and he's with 6 Cents too in Waterland, which is incredible. But yeah, we've been tying baits on, talking about fishing a little bit the last couple hours, and I was going to kind of run you through how the lake kind of sets up. And some of the baits I have tied on to go explore tomorrow. Can't wait to get out there. This is really going to be a lake. Like I said, I've never been to a lake that's a lot like this, but I've fished a lot of different bodies of water that kind of are going to set up and kind of make up how we fish in this tournament. Basically, if you look at Wheeler on a map, it is a giant river. It's a river system. These are all Tennessee River impoundments. And I think Wheeler's a really good example of a more riverine version of a Tennessee River lake. And what I mean by that is there's a lot more narrow sections that have a lot more current than some of like your traditional Kentucky Lake, the lower end of Pickwick. The current is going to be everything in this event, and it is everything in most events on the Tennessee River, because it positions the fish. So if you look at the lake and how it sets up, the upper end, really probably the upper half almost, is straight up river, narrow river. You're gonna have the spillway up there way at the top, and that's always a good area to catch smallmouth, right behind there on the current seams. But this isn't the best time to catch them up there. It still could play, and we're definitely gonna check that area, the current breaks and stuff up there in practice, especially if it starts to get a lot more rain like they're predicting a little bit. The better the current up there, the better the smallmouth position and bite. And here you can catch a 25-pound bag of smallies. We're thinking it's gonna take 18 to 20-ish pounds a day to win. So it'll be interesting to see if that's possible. You could go up there and blank as well. It's 40 miles from the ramp, so it's a haul and a gamble if you're gonna put all your eggs in that basket. And then as you get down a little bit closer to the Decatur area, is actually the most popular area of the lake where people fish and win a lot of tournaments. And that's an area called Decatur Flats. If you look at it on the map, basically you get the main river channel, and there's some little cut-throughs where the current flushes in under bridges and into this giant, wide, flat area that really doesn't get deeper than maybe 10 to 15 feet. The most of it is 2 feet deep, up to 7 or 8 feet deep. So it's a really shallow, flat area, but you have this water that really spreads out. It's not straight river currents. You get the river that runs next to it, but it kind of, this current flushes through these bars and these little islands over time that it's washed away. And it's created the most perfect environment for these fish because they can spawn up in that area. There's grass on that area. And one of the best defining characteristics of this lake that is really prevalent, like a lot of the Tennessee River lakes, is the shell bars. So basically, the shell bars are, like we've been fishing a lot in the tournament so far this year, they create hard spots, and their current breaks especially here. So you have not only a good place for the bass to come up and feed, where it's a harder bottom, which you know bass prefer, but they also can sit on the front of the shell bar as the current's washing up to it, and they can sit on the back of the shell bar, or even the sides if they get pushed around, depending on how big the bar is. Some of them are probably the size of the front deck of the boat. Some of them might be half a mile long. You don't really know that, but there's hundreds of them, if not thousands. A lot of them are at the mouths of some of these creeks, basically areas where it's a harder bottom, the shell's set up there, they're mussel beds, and they're fish holding structures all year long. Now, this isn't a secret, everybody knows this, so it's going to be really hard to get on one and have it to yourself. But if you get a good boat draw, or you just find a little hidden gem that the other guys didn't find that maybe has a couple of the better quality fish, that's going to be key. Now, like I said, it's shallow, and so some of these shell bars are even up in a foot of water. So the great thing is you can throw stuff like this catwalk right over the top of them. There's been some major tournaments. The last Elite Series tournament was here. Tons of big fish on topwater baits, and the great thing is there's probably still a lot of shad spawn going on in the lake. So we got this catwalk here. There's also crazy stuff as you look at some of this river stuff. There's traditional riprap banks, there's points, there's bridges, there's riprap on the bridges, and there's a lot of rock structure that a lot of the shad and stuff will spawn on and just be on throughout the tournament. So I tied on this 6 Sense F4, this finesse crankbait. It's a newer bait, circuit board lip, so we can really do a lot of damage, just beat the shit out of those rocks up there and not have to worry about that bill snapping off. And of course, my favorite color, the brown eye special. You can't go wrong. This water looks like it's pretty stained from all the videos I've watched here. Whenever you got 6 inches of visibility up to 2 or 3 feet, this color is absolutely money. Plus smallmouth up on the rocks in the current, they love this color. Could be really good. It's also where we'll throw that catwalk too. Now when we start talking about some of the ledges, especially some of the deeper shell bars and ledges like that, you guys know I got the hair jig tied on. I'm going to tie a few more crankbaits on. I'm just going to kind of mix them up at different depths. We got the 500 DD. We're going to throw the 300 DD a lot, the C10, even the C6 and the Magnum Square Bow from 6 Sense. Those are all going to be players. And of course, in those same types of areas, we're going to have dragon baits tied on. I got a ridge worm tied up here on a little free rig, and the ridge worm is a very special worm because it works in situations like I think we're going to be presented with, which is very, very pressured fish and a lot of boats around us. So everyone's out there throwing the U-tail, the C-tail worms, the fish get conditioned to see that, and then you got old Mr. Big Wavy with no action other than this natural subtle movement that's going to be waving around down there in the current, especially with the freedom of movement it's going to get when you hop it up and down on that free rig. That one could be absolutely killer up there. And then I heard from a guy that they eat the hog wall on a Carolina rig. I don't think I need to say too much more about that. You guys have seen what happens with that. Once again, we got the long leader because we want as much freedom of movement. We want it to look different than everybody else's and all those other baits they're used to seeing down there. And you guys know I can't go up fishing for northern strains, dragging offshore without just dragging the old swing head. I keep hearing from everyone how good the jig is here, which naturally means I am not going to throw a jig. I am going to tie on a swing head because everyone else is throwing a jig, and to me this is better than a jig 90% of the time. So we will see, once again, freedom of movement, if that plays a big role, especially in these current areas. Tomorrow is Saturday, so Saturday means a lot of people out fishing, and there's tournaments tomorrow. 100 to 200 boats of tournaments, high school tournaments tomorrow. So we're gonna try to avoid that Decatur Flats area a little bit because there's tournaments launching out of that area. Be a ton of boats there, but we're gonna go scan, I think, a little bit lower on the lake, which is basically just a little bit wider of the river section. And when we get on the water, the horses are going crazy back there. When we get on the water tomorrow, I'll explain, looking at my graphs, the types of areas that we're gonna target as these fish set up with the current and use those current breaks to feed. And we might be fishing shallower, I think, than we think we probably will be in the tournament, just to catch some fish and kind of figure out where they're at right now and where they're heading. Hasn't been super warm yet down here. We got some 80-degree weather coming up, but I think right now there could still be fish spawning and not quite out to the deeper stuff yet. Hopefully we can catch them out deeper. That's what I prefer, but we're gonna catch them where they wanna be caught. We're also gonna go to bed because I've been tying baits on for 17 hours and we're getting up early in the morning. So without further ado, we'll catch you in the morning. Good morning, MFers. Welcome to day one of practice. We waited till about 6:30, 6:45 to get out on the water this morning because we got high school anglers all over the place, 200 boats worth, and we didn't want to launch at the same time as them. So here we are. We have launched at Ingalls Harbor, one of the most impressive ramps I've ever seen in my life. You could back in 10 boats at a time at it. It's incredible. Parking lot's huge. And you can see back behind us right here, just some beautiful scenery. We got barges on barge tie-ups. The whole Decatur Flats area I was telling you about last night is right out there. We got awesome riprap and stuff, and man, you can see that water coming through here. You never know on a river system, especially a dammed up river system, what that current's really gonna look like, but it's pulling. I love this. I love current. I love multi-species. And I love the big bait stuff. It's going to be fun to kind of try to figure them out. We're going to start off by going a few miles, maybe 5 miles up from launch here, and just kind of taking a look at stuff this morning. I'm not worried at all about sticking some today. We got a long time before the tournament here, so not worried about that. Just kind of want to get a see of everything, get a layout, scan some stuff, see how the fish are set up on some of these shell beds, some of these current breaks and stuff like that. Get an idea right now of the types of baits, the nuances in baits that they like, whether they like a small, compact profile bait, they want a longer profile bait, they'll eat top water, if there's a shad spawn going on. Just different context clues that can be any value of us in 5 days of the tournament. So we're gonna get behind here. Coleslaw is with me this morning, and let's go figure something out. All right, little current spot. Let's see if we can get a smallmouth this morning. This morning. I'm gonna crank this sumbitch, Cole. Look at this guy. Little finesse F4. Looks about right. Perfect watercolor, about 1.5 to 2 foot visibility. Let's see if we can get one. This is eelgrass, Cole. All this fucking shit. Fucking disaster. About the worst thing in the world. I don't even think I can throw anything with trebles, like a topwater right here. That's not small. Oh. Dude, they're like, do you see that one? Couldn't see it. He's right there. There he goes. He still was on it. He was like touching it. He's probably 2.5. This is a pain in the ass. It's the predominant grass on the TVA now, Tennessee River system, eelgrass. We're going to have to deal with that a lot. Fish can hold on it, but the biggest problem is you see the surface of the water. It's hard to throw a treble hook bait because it's everywhere. the f is that? Fucking drum. Yeah, we got ourselves a drum guy, Cole. Gonna have some people over here soon on the bent rod pattern. Dude, it would be the biggest bass of all time. Lake record I got hooked up here. Big ol' ugly bastard. Come out to a good piece of cover. This is what you end up with. We should have known when we saw Brock after he sent a Snapchat of that we were gonna catch these. Dude, that thing's huge. Whoa! Ew. Drum gotta eat too, right? Well, we'll leave you to it, Brock. Best of luck. He was big when he was in that tree. Yay, almost a keeper. This lake's been full so far. You about can't get around anywhere because there's 700 little kiddies out fishing for their tournament. But we'll find something. Just want to show you guys this spot I'm fishing. Just caught that one on a swing head. Spot totally makes sense, but unfortunately, this is all like 10 miles of stuff that makes sense and has some type of fish on it and shell and grass and stumps. But looking at the map here, I'll show you guys really quick. I told you I was gonna kind of try to help you out, but this is the main river here, and you got a channel that comes this way. The river comes down through here, and there's another random channel that comes this way. So really, if you look at it, it's kind of hard to see with the shading, but this is all a point with a higher spot with two channels. Current's flushing down this way, and there's a bunch of stumps right on the point too. So made total sense for me to stop here. Saw some fish on side imaging, but I've seen fish on side imaging about everywhere, so definitely have to check about every spot that we stop on to see what the hell they are. Just kind of, like I said, trying to get a feel for everything, see the types of baits they eat, the presentations, and I'm trying to find some fish, a group of fish, and blast a few just to kind of get an idea of what these bass look like in some of this shallower structure side scanning. I'm happy that I have the Humminbird because the Mega on the Humminbird seems to be a lot better for the shallow side scanning than the Lowrance is, so it's nice to have that. But we got to see how some of these fish are setting up. I kind of got the feeling that not only are they crazy pressured with all the tournament pressure today, but they're not quite wanting to move out deep yet. So hopefully in the next week or so we start seeing some move out.
Hey, are you that Dan Milliken guy?
Yep.
I'll follow you on YouTube, man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
We got a high school tournament up here today.
I see that. Who's in it? Everyone in the country?
It's around 200 boats, so.
That was not small. Oh, that's fun. Yeah. Yeah, bud.
You might want to shake that one off.
Yeah, I'll try to shake him off next time. Big old smallmouth on the old kitty walk. One of these times I'm about to get it. Thank you. Beauty. Probably almost 4-pounder. Little 6-cents catwalk fish. Awesome little spot right here. Little island saddle. Yeah, bud. That's too fun. Freaking kitty catting them. Not nearly as big, but keeper. 2-pounder. A little less than 2. Freaking smallies on top water. I just went from hating this lake to okay, yeah. I'm just gonna keep blasting them. I need it for my soul. Bone. 6 cents catwalk. That's the deal right there. Little clicky clack over this point. Let's do her again. Oh. Tree. Yeah. Spin that tree around, Smalley. It's a largemouth. The world? What are you doing in there? How you doing? Wow. Slacked it like he was 14 pounds. God damn it. How do you walk the dog? Oh. Yeah. I just had one on. Did you see that? I had one. They want to get it the second time, every time. I saw some freaking fish wiggling around down there on scope. Nice little channel break. I guess we're gonna go up to this next one. I was about to pull it. That was almost a 3-pounder. Good morning, MFers. Welcome to day number 2 of practice. Woke up and made an hour drive to a different ramp today, and we are fishing way up as far as we can actually go, about 45 miles from where we will launch in the tournament at the tail race. I caught some good smallmouth last night, and that kind of got my wheels turning a little bit on some smallmouth fishing, and these TVA lakes are all famous for fishing up by the tail race, and there's big smallmouth that just live up in these areas. So we came up here to check it out, just to see what it looks like. I don't think that it's going to be one up here, and it kind of looks like it's not an area that fishes very big. Like it's not going to be able to support very many boats. We just got up here and launched, and I'm seeing a pretty major issue right now, and that is there is like almost no current, despite the TVA app saying that they are generating 2 turbines or whatever right now. So it's very important for these areas to have a lot of current to position these fish on these current breaks. Otherwise they just get out and roam, these fish do. It's not really the best time of the year for fishing tail races either, like it will be in the fall winter pre-spawn phase. So we might be a little behind that, but I can tell this tournament's gonna fish really small. The lake is down by the Decatur area, and so I wanted to come up here just in case that someone's going down up here. So we're gonna check it out this morning, and then a little bit later we're probably gonna run down the lake and go to a different ramp, launch down there, and do some more traditional stuff. But for now, let's try to stick a big smallie. What do we got? I think that was a white. It looked weird though. I would have been able to see it if I just had my Waterland sunglasses on, which allow me to cut the glare of the top of the water, even on foggy mornings like this one. We fished over in the current where it was blasting in, but there was so many rough fish right there, white bass, carp, and gar and everything, that it didn't seem real great. And then we went over on the riprap side, and there's so many people bank fishing right there, you can't parallel it like at all. I fished one or two little current seam spots and didn't get a bite. So I'm checking up here where it's slick water next to the lock, because smallmouth and largemouth can spawn. If they live up here, this is probably where they're gonna do it because it's no current. But so far I'm not seeing anything crazy. I think we need to get down the river a little bit where people can't bank fish because there's no access, and it narrows up a little bit so the current will be funneled through there a little bit more. Is that a spot? I don't know what the hell that is. I think it's a spot. This is why we came up here. That'd be a spotted bass. Largemouth, not ideal. Wrong size, wrong everything. Came up here to smallie fish, we caught a spot in a largemouth. Cool. Ooh, that's not small. That was a big smallie. Jeez, loaded in here. Spot. Another one with it. Angry little bastards. Still the wrong species and the wrong size. I just had a good smallie blow up on me, but definitely a keeper. Fat. Little spots everywhere. Tiny. Smallie. Dude. Broke back smallie. I've now caught all 3 species on topwater this morning. I think he's eaten every lure he's ever seen. And he's just... Yes, that's the only one that... This has been the deal for me. Not really catching big ones up here this morning, but that's kind of cool. It's not that promising. I was telling Cole, it's cool because at this lake, there's fish down on the lower end where we caught that 4.5 pounder, that smallie. There's smallies on the lower end, and there's smallies up here, and there's smallies in the middle section of the lake. And a lot of places you don't really have that when you have a current fishery and largemouth in there, because the largemouth can outcompete them with the bigger mouths a lot of times. So it's cool that they're in all parts of the lake. So far, this part of the lake does not have the ones we're after. Little smallmouth or something. Is it the right species finally, Cole? It's not. Spotted bass. Not that there's a right and a wrong species, but was not expecting to come up here and catch not smallmouth, but whatever. Angry little chicks. Spot. Yay. Spot. Oh, it's a stump. I thought it was a rock. Maybe it's a rock. I can't tell. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Wrong size. Oh, wrong size of the fish. Got it. What kind of bass did I catch? A spot-head bass. He liked the eel grass on the back of it. Wish it was up a little higher. First timer here. There we go. I almost had it. Almost had it out. I thought it was coming out. How we doing today? Good.
He's up on you guys, state game warden, state Alabama. We're gonna check you guys out.
Sounds good.
Licenses and life preserves, that kind of thing.
You got it. Yep. Yep.
Back here.
It's right here actually. I had it out from.
Can you show me that gauge on the side there? It's in the green. Yep, all right.
Ben Milliken.
Thank you, sir.
You bet. We launched up at the dam and thought there'd be some big smallies, but not much water running up there.
Yeah. A bunch of people up that way?
There's a bunch of people on the bank. There's hardly anyone on boats.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Yes, sir.
All right.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Don't fall out with the camera, man. Try not.
Little Chuck. Wow. Fat little dude. Got that fry up there. I think they're spotted Edward fry. Dude, why is there no smallies on anything? We just stopped here because, well, it looks like this. And the whole river is wide right there. The current's coming, boom, right into all this stuff. It's badass. You can see there's like crap on the water floating towards the other side. It comes into right here, so you can tell that's where the current is. Not very much current though. It's weird. You go to the middle of the lake on the flats and there's more freaking current than there is up the river. Hi, bird. Everywhere you stop on the smallmouth stuff, you catch the spotted bass. Well, we made a little change. Drove an hour south. We're back down at Inglis Harbor where we're taking off. We're in the mid-lake area. And totally different type of fishing. So rigged up a few rods, totally different type of fishing actually, with the shallower grass and stuff. Mostly largemouth down here, but like I said, there's giant smallmouth as well. We're gonna spend the rest of the day learning how to fish for these fish on these bars with the eelgrass and stuff. Just seeing how to set the boat up, the type of baits they like, whatever. We're still 4 days before the tournament. I don't care about sticking a couple. especially since I haven't found anything really productive, and there's so many rough fish, you can't just scan a school on a bar and be like, oh, there's bass there, because there's 99% of fish here are not bass. So yeah, that's what we do in the rest of the day. We got a lot of time left though. It's only noon almost right now, so we got about 8 hours of practice left today, and we'll hopefully have something found. I think we're gonna catch some big ones though. Weird. Look, a mussel. Damn it, you got it? Pretty good one. I marked that spot. It was the highest spot and the brightest spot on this whole area, so there'll be something to that. He was either multiple fish had that one too, or he was taking it from him, so let's see if we can duplicate. Wow, amazing. If I was a bass, I'd be eating these freaking hatch flies. You gotta deflect it off of the barge tie-up. Everyone knows that pattern. All right, we're gonna run. Oh, it was a good one too. It's all about that first highest spot on the shell bed. Wherever the change is the biggest. Yeah, they're loaded. Something is. I thought that last time too, and it was just freaking nothing would bite after that. It's a large head. Dude, why are they all jumping off today? This hook must be duller than piss or something. It's pretty dull. Just keep rolling with it. Good practice hook. You still stick them all, Cole, and educate them, but at least you don't touch them and get good content. Dude, they're pretty smart, donging it like that and not getting hooked. Oh, no. Ooh, that's a bad one. Wow. Cole, why the f would you put all of your lures? Oh my God, are you serious? Through the fucking eye? Unbelievable. It's a weird looking fish. All right, so just came up to this spot to fish this shallow point and looked in here, and these overhanging trees, they create shade, and there's baby shad. The shad must have spawned. They're all over right here. So I decided to flip this little divine ball head finesse jig. Of course, the part of the tree that's the furthest sticking out is where they were sitting. And the current's pulling the wrong direction now, so I don't know how that's possible, but apparently the current can push upstream in this lake. We're doing all sorts of new stuff today. Yep. I have to get one of those jet skis, Cole, with my swing head. I knew there had to be some of those in there. I knew that. It just looks right. Maybe that's what's banging the freaking swing head so hard. Dong, dong, because a smallmouth will do that, you know? Cole, you don't know that, but that's a heavy fish, dude. That's a 2.5 pounder. Thick. There's also a fly hatch going on, so we got those in these trees. Here, watch this. Look at that. You guys see, Cole, could you capture that on film? Want me to do it again?
Do it one more time.
That's what we should do in the tournament, create a damn frenzy. Not a terrible idea. Once again, we're 4 days before the tournament, but it kind of is like chumming, but I'll just say it was a bad cast. Natural chum. Natural chum. Pissed off right here. Small. Just put on a nice little plum fleck divine shaky worm. Got a little spot that's good here. I don't know, we'll see. We're loaded, dude. I thought that was a big one when I set it. Haven't set the hook with that rod in a while. The world is this? Drum? Yep. It's a school of drum down there. Hundreds of them. That's what it is when they don't get hooked and it's dong. Sometimes, unless it's a bass, then it's not. Dude, gross. Sorry, Cole, that was dope. It's pretty funny though. At least your shirt's not white anymore. I bet no one's ever caught one on a lure that's on top. Until now, skadoosh!